1. Madam Speaker, ladies and gentlemen, the empathy that the other side has is very admirable, and in a perfect world where people truly are honest, people truly can be reformed, and people truly can be rehabilitated, then that can happen. But the reality we have is so far from it, and ultimately, we have to understand a couple of reasons why their side can't take this round. The first is in terms of burden fulfillment. Because if you check your flow, the motion is not this House supports the three-strike rule or policy to everyone. That's not where the debate lies. The particular importance of where the debate lies is understanding the difference between why you did something or motivation or intent and the action that you actually do. Meaning, the impacts that side opposition tries to prove doesn't necessarily apply to the stakeholder they want to protect. Because if they want to protect the urban poor or the disenfranchised people who are so vulnerable, those who commit crime out of desperation, we had several responses to that. We told you that not all crimes, especially those like violent kidnapping and murder and all that, are not out of desperation. And even if that were the case, doesn't justify the reasons behind that, and they need to be able to punish even more severely than what's being done in status quo. But we understand their impact of rehabilitation, but we don't think that it particularly applies to those vulnerable groups because these people who commit the crime are the repeat offenders, meaning you need to be able to realign that particular impact. Because we tell you that people who do it out of desperation do it for those reasons, and ultimately, we don't think that they can get away scot-free. In fact, the tipping point where this debate applies are those people who are repeat offenders. Because sure, maybe doing it once is desperation. You can get the status quo punishment that happens on both sides. But where you unlock the benefit of our side are 2 and 3, strike 2 and 3, wherein these people are actually punished more, and that becomes the ultimate deterrent given that they're probably hardened and make a deliberate choice to do so. The second reason their side can't take this debate is that I'm not entirely sure they understand the extent of crime and how this necessarily affects people. Because the people who commit crime, regardless of intent, sure, can be the victim, but we don't think that we can absolve them for what they do. And as they say, if you do the crime, you have to do the time. And in our instances, you have to do even more time because as what Miguel and Jaron said, it's probably more of a deterrent at the point in which the punishment is so severe. So, if you check and listen to the flow of their speech, I don't think they fully even understand what's actually happening with regard to that thing particularly being a potentially violent and serious crime. You stole from someone who worked hard from that. You kidnapped, a Filipino-Chinese kid because their family has a lot of money. Or, oh no, you murdered an individual. If you were to channel the empathy, it should be for the people you actually hurt and these people who were killed and who didn't consent to that, and not the very people who did it. Because sure, there may be implications or motivations or reasons why, but the criminal justice system in and of itself and Lady Justice is blind for a purpose because they don't care why you did it, but they care about what you did, which is where our side consistently anchors our case. Basically, in terms of responsiveness, we were able to respond to them a bit more in terms of saying, yes, there may be reasons why you do that, but we're looking at the action you do, and that in and of itself, because of how the justice system works, has to continue being done fairly. And for all of these reasons, we are very proud to stand on side affirmative. Thank you.